Welcome to this special, very big episode of Mission Makes. Really big. Let's get into it.
Yes, I'm Ron Finch. I'm a bike builder. I live in Pontiac, Michigan. That's where my studio is. And I've been fortunate all my life that I've got a gift that I can just look at something and make it. You come to me and you say, okay, I want a rhinoceros. Well, I never did a rhinoceros before, but okay, they got a horn, and yeah, we can do one of them. And why a rhinoceros? I don't know. Well, as you probably know, I've been riding motorcycles all my life. When I first started, I lived in Royal Oak, and my parents, it was in the fall, and my parents came to me and said, okay, at this point, you can either get your scooter or you can get a car. Well, she thinks, well, Mrs. Finch's little boy, Ronnie's probably smart enough to to get a car, seeing winter's coming, and I was working in Birmingham, and so however whatever I chose, I'd have to ride. So naturally, I was just a Cushman Eagle, is what it was. Every day through the slop and slush and cold, I'd ride down Woodward Avenue to Birmingham. It was just a carry out boy, but it was it was a job, and I was doing okay. And then I'd get home and I'd be all ice, from the slop coming up from the road and stuff. But I don't care. I had my scooter. And so then from there, I had a 52 BSA. It was a 750cc plunger frame. And that's kind of when I started doing a little bit of custom work. It was, had a peanut gas tank on it, and a alloy rear fender, and a donkey dick tail light, and a couple other things I had chromed. And then I took it to this guy to have him paint it. He told me I gotta sand it down and get it all ready. Okay, no problem. And I take it to him. He charges me quite a bit to paint it. And so I says, I don't know. I pay him. I says, if he can do it, I can probably do it. I mean, so I bought myself a real cheap spray gun and started spraying a little bit. And I just kind of kept practicing. And then I wanted to be able to be pinstripe. And so there was this guy, Paul Hatton, down on 5 Mile, and he had this Quonset hut like, and I'd go in there and I'd say, could I watch you? No, you don't need to be around here. Basically, you're a snotty nosed little kid. Okay, whatever. So about a week later, I'd go back there. How about let me sweep your floor? No, I can sweep my own floor. I go back there again. How about let me sweep your floor? Okay. And so at the time, my parents moved to Southfield, and they were at 10 Mile and Telegraph, and he was at 5 Mile and Telegraph. So I'd I'd ride my little bike down there, and so then I'd come back home and I'd start pinstriping. I had this piece of glass, and I'd pinstripe the one side of the glass, then I'd turn it over, pinstripe the other side of the glass until I got okay. And so then I did some of my own stuff, and then a friend of a friend's car, motorcycle, whatever. And then I started getting okay, and then I started charging a little bit, 15, $20, because that's just what I wanted to do. I was working at this job where they had the contract with Chrysler Corporation, and I was driving cars off from the assembly line to the hallway companies. And so there was like 8 guys in a little, like a panel truck, and they'd take the 8 cars, drive them to the yard, then you ride back, get another one. We were doing about 32 cars a day. And but the cool part, I was the youngest guy on the crew, and so the old guys, they didn't like them 427 Hemis. They go boom boom, and you got to shift and clutch and all that stuff. So I drove just about every one of them, which was big fun because I'd naturally have to smoke the tires a little bit and carry on. I got fairly high up in seniority. It was really a good job, but I didn't really like it. So I was driving to work one day, and the Sanderson's Honda Triumph dealer was opening up. So I took the day off work and went out there and told him I'd ride my custom bike out there for the grand opening if I could pinstripe in the showroom. And I was pinstriping wallets and I still got a wallet. Looks kind of like that. And I took a leave of absence from some work and started working there. And I worked there for a while. And then it got to be a thing where I was paying him a percentage to use his building and stuff. And so I gave him 3 different offers. He said, nah, okay, no problem. So I'll give you 2 weeks notice. And then I started um, looking for a building. I found a building. And I started making payments on the building. I was buying the building. And the real estate was really nice. They just said, okay, we can keep doing that. And so I didn't have enough money to really have a house and that, so I just slept on a workbench for about 3 years, which no big deal. It was all good because I had to get started someplace. And then at that point, I started making. There were banana seats and Springer front ends, Finch front ends. My dad worked at Chrysler Corporation, and knew about import and export and stuff. He says, "Well, you can start importing stuff." So this company that did the peanut tanks and the Wassel rear fenders and LEP lights and so on and so forth, I started buying them right from the manufacturers, which I was getting them wholesale, and then I started selling them out of the shop. But I also had salesmen that went around and sold them, and I didn't know anything about that. I'm not really that type of businessman because you do that kind of stuff and it kind of takes away from your creativity. I gotta see who's pulling up here on a motorcycle. So, anyways, I'm sleeping on the workbench and taking in a few jobs, quite a few jobs actually. I was just getting going. I was starting to get a little bit of name as far as painting motorcycles, and there was this friend of mine, Buddha, that worked with me, and him and I would be in the paint room a lot. I was doing a couple paint jobs every week. And so then the cops started coming around, and they wanted to come in the shop. Yeah, no problem. So then they were coming in about every week, 2 weeks, and looking at serial numbers. Well, if I really look that stupid that I would have stolen bikes here? Well, we got to check. Yeah, well, okay. And then I put up a sign. Oh, you didn't get a permit for that sign. You got to take that sign down right now. Okay, so I take the sign down, go get a permit, put another sign up, different location. And then they say, oh no, that's too close to the road. You're going to have to move it. And I put all kinds of work in that, railroad ties and little flowers and rocks and the sign. Okay, so now I move it back. So then I parked my bike on the sidewalk. Well, there's nobody that ever walks down that sidewalk. So got a ticket for that. Now they're back in looking for serial numbers. And then they park a cop car right in front of the building. And I go and talk to the cop. I don't have really a problem with cops. And he says, well, the chief says, you got to just park there. And he says, I'm supposed to be looking for speeders coming over the hill, but we both know they got me checking you out. Big deal. I got nothing to hide. I mean, there was a few clubbers that come in, and maybe they think they're undesirables, but they were my customers, and I didn't have a problem with them. And so then I'm going to try to get an addition on the building. I do a drawing. It's just 3 sides. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, I can draw that good. And so I take it, yeah, everything's going to be okay. You can get started on it. But so Joe Smuckatelli, or whatever his name was, he was out of town. So I can't, he says, yeah, you can go ahead and start. So I started clearing the land, getting the footings and so on and so forth. Well, we better hold up. Wait till Smuckatelli gets back. Okay, so I come back. He says, you're going to have to hold up for a little while. So they come up with this plan where the building's got to be up on stilts so you can park underneath it. It's not like I was going to have more customers or anything. I just, needed more space. So that was the last straw. So I went out in the country, which was country at the time, at Joslin and Brown, and I went to the guy that was selling this property. It was agricultural, and I said, here's $500. If I get it changed commercial, I'll buy it. Fine. So we both went to the city, got it changed, and I was there for 30 years, and it was a good location. People said, "How can you go way out in the country?" Well, because I'll be good out there. So then 30 years later, they come to me and they're building the Orion plant, and they need to buy the part of the property, which they did. That bought and paid for the place, what they bought, and so then they're building the mall there, and they're building Myers and Target and all these different stores. So then my property's dumb luck, but valuable. So then I ended up, getting a purchase agreement and screwing around for 3 years, and they finally bought it. Then I bought this place here, which was just a real little house right directly behind my house, and I gutted the house and then built the addition on here. And now I've been here 22 years, which it doesn't seem like 22 years, but and I really like it here. I've got a bar out in the woods. There's a pond, and the swans come in, and I feed them right out of my hand. Hot dog rolls, which I have in stock all the time, because they come over here, and I don't have a hot dog roll for them. They kind of peck at me. Okay, I'll go get it. So that's it's a good location, and not having to drive to work, just walk out of the back door of the house and walk in the front door of the studio. It's pretty good. I have quite a few friends that come by occasionally, and so it keeps me active. I'm 85 years old, and I still enjoy working, and so people say, "How do you do it?" Well, I've always done basically what I wanted in life, and I'm sure that makes a difference. Poor guys that have to go punch the clock and hate their job and hate going home, and it's just, for me, I I got a gift where I can do whatever I want to do. You show me a picture, I can probably build a fish or a iguana or a sculpture or whatever. I've had some special orders. This one guy 2 years ago came and he brought us a box of Indian parts, and he says, "I would like you to build a little sculpture, and here's the parts, and I'd like you to use as much as you can because I want to be an Indian." So I was working on it for a while and couldn't really figure out the fenders. So I was out garage selling, and there was this little kitty car, like I think it was built in the 50s, and it had these little fenders all on it, and they worked out perfect because I didn't know how to make little Indian fenders. And so, in fact, I still got one here. Well, wrong drawer. Wrong drawer. Aha, right there. And so, as you can see, that looks like an Indian fender. And I, chopped it a little different and stuff, but it worked out very well. He came and picked it up, and he was really happy with it, which I was happy that he was happy. And I did use as many parts that he brought me in the box that I could. So I think right now maybe we should go upstairs and check out what I'm talking about, the little sculptures. And maybe after that we can walk to the bar or something. I don't have real good time recollection, so I can't really say exactly, but we'll say about 25, 30 years ago, I started doing metal sculptures. And it's something that I enjoy doing. It's kind of a gift that I have if somebody comes in and they tell me they want a rose. Okay, I know how to make a rose. We can do that. Well, how about a frog? Well, yeah, okay. And one thing I kind of came up with a while back was these door knockers. You go, oh, no, nobody's home. And the cross of Jesus. And this guy, he's kind of a fun little guy. You can call him a bird, or a cat, or you can call him anything you want. But we know for sure that this is a spider. There's no doubt in my mind there. A while back, I went to Germany to see my grandson play basketball, And after it was the last game that he had, and so he got in the van with us. There was my son-in-law, Sonny, my daughter, Gail, my other daughter, Karen, and then Buddy and his girlfriend, and my wife, Ruth. And Karen was taking some pictures of the tulips there, which there was 7 million of them in this thing. It's unbelievable. Anyways, the pestle part was something like this, which our tulips don't look like that. So I made this one special and a couple others for the people that went on the trip, just as a remembrance of the trip. And then out here, this is where I paint. There's a downdraft underneath the carpet. You just turn the switch and it sucks the fumes out, you know. And then this guy, Bud, who was a sign painter, pinstriper, he died here a couple months ago. And so this sign was still at his place, which he did for this guy, Dirty Dave, that used to work for me. And the son of Bud gave it to me just because. And so it was a long time ago when I was on university, it says there. So that had to have been, I've been here 22, 30, probably about 60 years ago, you know. And that sign's still around. Exactly what I'm going to do with it, I don't know, but it's kind of cool to have a memory. And then I've been working on this fish here. And so sometimes when I'm in here painting, I'll be cleaning my airbrush or whatever and just kind of give it a little squirt, you know. And it's just kind of a work in progress. Then out here, there's a deck. The top rails are from the city of Detroit. They were light poles, and somebody knocked them down and they were laying alongside the road, so I just kind of commandeered them, you know. They just take them to the junkyard anyways, but 22 years ago, all I was doing was choppers, which was pretty easy. Real choppers didn't have front fenders, so you don't need to worry about that. Then they had, you know, the rear fender, usually the oil bag, and a gas tank, and usually that was about it. You know, maybe a couple little doodahs, but whatever. And so then, you know, now everybody's into the baggers. Well, you got 13 different pieces, and so now I can't put 13 pieces in there, so I'll do, you know, 6 and 7 or, you know, whatever. And then I get them done, and then I've got a friend that owns a body shop over in Rochester. I take everything over there to clear it, you know, there, because I can't clear it in here. It's best to do the whole job at one time, naturally. I just got done doing one that was, the guy went to Arsenal, Harley, bought a brand new CVO, I think it's called, and they took it apart, brought it to me, I painted it, and they're putting it back together right now, actually, you know. So the guy will be able to be picking it up and go down that long, lonesome highway. So, well, it's not always so lonesome, but, and right now I'm working on a Mexican restaurant that's over in Utica. I did a fire pit now, and then there's that plant where they get the tequila from, and it's about 6 foot wide and 5 foot tall. It goes on a wall out in the patio. And now I'm working on a fish that you've seen, and I'm going to be installing that probably in the next 2-3 weeks. So my wife Ruth, she names all this stuff. She's got a very good vocabulary, and her penmanship's all nice and everything. Where I don't know, I've never really read a book in my life, and needless to say, I can talk, and you know, but I can't come up with the names like she can. So like this Indian here, that's Chief Runamuck. And then that's a spring chicken. And this thing here is a wine holder. It says wine carrier. And so that means you can just pick it up and carry it. And if you like, you walk into the party. You know, you could be the hit of the party with your little wine carrier, you know. The horse actually won contest in a show, which, you know, if you look at it hard, you can see there's wrenches and bearings and gears and knobs for turning on the faucet and the water and ball bearings and just a lot of different stuff. So the more you look at it, the more you see a motorcycle chain and like that. This guy here, he was a meat grinder, and he is called Meathead. There's a place down by the powder coater that makes these springs, and I go in the dumpster and I pick those up, and they come in handy for different things. You've probably noticed a bit of my art, and you can go on and on, like the fish. I don't know what it's called. I can tell you what it is. It's a thatching rake. You use it and it digs out all the dead grass and stuff. And then this is one that I actually like. Some things I do I don't like, but this was a C-clamp. This was the thing how you tighten the clamp, and this was part of the C-clamp itself that came around. And that's called C-clamp, like the C-clamp fish, so kind of a fun place. A lot of people, I don't like sell a lot of stuff out of here or anything, but it's a thing where sometimes it's a special occasion, a wedding anniversary or a birthday or whatever. And there's a lot of people that, they got everything they need. They don't need anything else, but people will come in and buy something that's special for a certain person. And a lot of times I'll actually make something to order because that woman happens to like tarantulas or whatever. Yeah, a while back I was on the biker build-off, and the guy that I was going against was Jesse Rook, and he built a bike, kind of like a Schwinn bicycle. It was okay. And we did some good riding together. We rode about 500 miles, as you do, and we were going through New Jersey. New Jersey, I always thought, it was kind of like New York, but it's not that way at all. There's like trees and meadows, and it was pretty cool. But then there's a bridge that goes across the Chesapeake Bay, and they closed it off. And the guy had a helicopter over us, we went across. It's about 20 miles across, 20 miles back, and it was pretty cool. They told us you can't go fast. Well, there's nobody there, no cars, no nothing, no side streets. So that lasted for maybe 15 minutes or so. And then that was the end of that. We got to go. Let's hit it, And then the helicopter got real low and was blowing all kinds of dust and stuff off the bridge. And, so, okay, then we slowed down. We took the hint, But it was fun. And then I can't remember the name of the town that we were going to, but I think it was Brownsville, or it was a ways down the road. It was an Easy Rider rodeo, so there was a lot going on. It was fun, and and so he beat me doing that, and they're announcing, oh yeah, he beat Ron Finch, yeah, and he's gonna do it with the people, and so on and so forth. But Ron's got a lot of people here, and so on and so forth, and they kept saying that he's gonna win. Well, I hate to say that he got lost about 4-1, because it's just there was not a lot of comparison between the two bikes, but it was still really fun, so it was a good time. And then basically that was about the end of the trip. But originally we started in Ocean City, and we rode around there a bit before we left on our 500-mile ride. And as a whole, it was really a good ride. The weather was great, and and there'd be people. You'd stop at a gas station or something, and people would all come out and check out the bikes and stuff. it was pretty cool. And from there, they had the grand finale thing in Las Vegas, and they had ZZ Top there. He was singing a few songs, and and then not bragging or complaining, but I won the Blacksmith Award, plus financially I won the award for when I was on the ride. And no big deal. I'm not on no ego trip. I just do what I do, and it's just a gift that I have that I can create whatever. That's just kind of what I do.